Hello there, welcome back to another video. Today we have a ton of 9.1.5 content. Literally just came out. It is Friday night right now, and yeah, they just put out a massive post talking about all of the different features which are coming in patch 9.1.5, so no more speculation. This is factual right now, and it is pretty exciting. But before we get into that, guys, just want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me streaming World of Warcraft and other MMOs, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM. Right, so in this video, we're going to go through all of this, and we are going to go through some of the extra bits they have announced through Twitter and various other places, which have kind of like come out since this post was released. This all started with another post actually, which was talking about 9.1.5 and kind of like talking about that coming up real soon. And then TBC Phase 2 also announced for September 15th, I think it was, and they were talking about Classic Fresh as well. And that's all something we will probably cover as well in the channel at some point. But this video is specifically about 9.1.5, and I put out a couple videos now. Did one about the customization, and I did one speculating on what was going to be in that patch, and there was some of the things that I suggested which actually are in this patch, so I was pretty happy about that. So anyway, let's talk about this post. So it starts off by saying, with the arrival of the 9.1.5 PTR, we want to share information of the variety of new features and updates arriving with the content update. Not all of these features and updates will be available immediately on the PTR, but we are looking forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback as they do. So the PTR is actually scheduled to launch next week, so as soon as that launches, guys, we will be streaming it over on Twitch and diving deep into all of the minor changes and different things which weren't mentioned in this post. So the first part of this post talks about Covenants, and what they've done, guys, is they've pulled the ripcord. Yes, they have pulled the ripcord away from the Covenant restrictions. So it says players who reach max renown for their Covenant will be able to freely switch among any of the 4 Covenants without cooldown or restriction. Cosmetic rewards, including pets and mounts, that have been earned from that Covenant will thereafter be available regardless of your membership of a different one. So that's awesome. They're losing the restrictions on the Covenant rewards, as well as letting you freely switch between them, which is something we've wanted for the longest time. Right now, you only get to switch over, I believe, I think it's like a 2-week cooldown or something like that, and with 9.1.5, it looks like there will be no cooldown at all, which is incredible. And honestly, it should have been there at the start of the expansion, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, and this is where we're at. So it also says Covenant switching and the use of cosmetic rules will also apply alternate characters once the renown threshold is reached on one character. So essentially, once you hit renown 80, which is the max right now, you can switch between Covenants and do all of that kind of stuff, which is very, very exciting. So with Conduits and Soulbinds, they're actually removing Conduit energy. Yeah, this is something that hasn't really affected me much, but the raiders have been talking about this quite a lot. And yeah, Conduit energy is being removed in 9.1.5. And finally, it goes on to say, completing a Covenant campaign on one character will allow alt characters the ability to skip the same Covenant's campaign, which means earning the renown and the 3rd Soulbind unlock immediately without having to replay the entire narrative. So, alts are getting Covenant campaign skips and instant Soulbinds. That is fantastic. You don't have to go through all of the crap that you've gone through before. Awesome, fantastic, thank you very much. Again, something that should have been there at the start of the expansion, but, you know, it's come in now, and it's a well-needed change. So after that, it talks about character customization. So as a variety of new character customizations have been introduced for the Nightborn and Lightforged Draenei, along with additional updates of ear size of Void Elf and new travel forms for Druids and new soul shapes for the Night Fae. So some of these images are really cool. This is actually some of the images we have seen before, the Lightforged from the back and the Nightborn female we've seen, but there is some new images here of a Lightborn male with some really awesome looking customization. Looks like they are getting customizable tendrils and new facial hairs, which is really cool. And we also see the Lightforged female for the first time. With the addition of the tail size option, the horn decoration, the horn customization, there's loads of different things in there, including the back tattoos as well. I might make a separate video going through the details of that, but to be honest, by the time I get around to that, the customizations will probably be on the PTR. So yeah, we'll probably do a live action sort of one with the actual character model instead of just looking at pictures. So there is also a Nightborn male as well, looking really cool with some new facial hair and new hair cuts as well, which is cool, and a mohawk. So we are going to get a Nightborn mohawk, which is pretty cool. And they did finish off with a couple of images of the ear sizes for Void Elves and the regular hair colors for the Void Elf as well, which is something that people have wanted for the longest time. Unfortunately, in the picture, they didn't use the regular skin tones, but I guess you know, it would probably just look like a blood elf at that point. So yeah, really, really cool. The next part of these posts is my favorite by far. Oh my goodness, I could not even believe that this is happening. So it says, introducing Legion Timewalking. Delve back into Legion dungeons with Legion Timewalking and take on the challenges within, including access to Legion Mythic Plus dungeons. This event will run 2 weeks for the first time and then resume a 1 week schedule. Holy crap. Mythic plus Legion is coming back in 9.15. This is something we've talked about. I've tweeted it multiple times. I even mentioned it in my predictions video as something I wanted, and it looks like Legion Mythic Plus is happening. We're going to get Time Walking Keystones in 9.15. From 9.15, may I add, with Legion Time Walking Week. So I don't know how it's going to work. There's no extra details in regards to how it's going to work, but oh man, it is going to be really interesting. Like, so many questions, right? Is it going to have the affixes from Legion? Is it going to have the affixes from Shadowlands? Like, is this going to expand in the future to other expansions? You know, I would love to see it, you know, kind of continue on into other expansions. You know, the technology's there. So yeah, we will certainly see, but Legion Time Walking looking really good in 9.15. So the rest of it is kind of minor things that we've wanted for a long time. So you have the more introduction is now skippable. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That is something we've wanted for ages. Island Expedition will be solo queue, so that's really cool. And you can do that in any difficulty. It looks like normal, heroic, and mythic on your own or with a party if you want to. Talents and ability improvements. So it says in 9.15 they're working on additional updates to variety of class talents and class abilities, including conduits, rune carving, and covenant class ability tuning. So it looks like they are doing some tuning passes in 9.15, along with looking at a couple of classes. They didn't specify any classes specifically, but they are looking at conduits, rune carving, and the covenant abilities specifically. But obviously they will look at some class abilities too. The next one is allied race unlocks. This is really cool. So it says allied races such as Cultier and humans, Mechanomes, Dark Iron Dwarves, which had dungeon requirements to unlock them, will no longer need to complete the associated quest to gain access to those races. Players will be able to skip it instead. So there was some dungeon requirements for those races when unlocking them on the Alliance side, and it looks like in 9.15 that is being removed, which is good because obviously that was BFA content, so it's not really relevant to right now. Additional travel points in the more, so they're going to have one to petition hold. The Des Motrion, I don't know how to pronounce that very well. That's the area where the raid is. Thank goodness, please. Oh my goodness. That raid is horrible to get to. The only comparison I can make is running through vanilla dead mines. Running to vanilla dead mines. That's what it feels like. It's horrible. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Remote anima turning. So this isn't actually what you think it is. It isn't like, you know, you do it from your bag. It's just simply a extra guy in Korthia. So you can actually just deposit in Korthia. Still a great change and good to see. So you don't have to go all the way back to your Covenant Sanctum every single time. So it looks like, yeah, they're adding a NPC in Korthia to hand in your turn-ins. The next thing is transmogrification linking. So it says shows off your complete transmog outfit to chat or online by easily sharing a link from the dressing room. Players will be able to mouse over the items and see how they can be collected, if they've already collected the appearance, or if the appearance is accessible to the character they're viewing on. So it looks like you can link stuff straight from the dressing room, which is really cool, especially for people that are really into transmog. I'm sure that's something they've wanted for a long time, so yeah, nice little extra change there. The next one is alt leveling improvements. It says a variety of improvements will be introduced in support of a smoother experience leveling alt characters through Shadowlands, such as additional ranks for your heirlooms, and improvements to Threads of Fate, such as the addition of Torghast as an option, and renown gains for completing bonus objectives. So this is huge. Torghast leveling. This is also something that was kind of in the alpha originally. There was a bit of a bug. You could level through Torghast, and people loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. So yeah, it looks like Torghast leveling is back on the menu for 9.15. Looking forward to trying that out, and the additional upgrades to heirlooms, which is always great. So yeah, currently I think heirlooms cap at 50. Looks like they're going to cap at 60 as of 9.15, which is cool. That's something that was kind of wanted for a while. So yeah, and improvements to Threads of Fate, which is good, and obviously more renown through Threads of Fate through bonus objectives as well. So yeah, love to see it. You love to see it. The next one is PvP gear power adjustments. It says lower item level PvP gear will now scale to higher item level PvP situations than before. This will reduce the power gap so that new players can feel like they're able to compete in Battlegrounds and Arena more readily. This change will not affect high item level PvP gear. So yeah, cool little change there for people just wanting to kind of jump into PvP, especially later on in the expansion. So I do like that. I like that a lot. Rune carving recipes, simple one. The rune carving recipes will now be 100% drop from any dungeon difficulty. Love to see it. Again, something that should have been in since the start. So yeah, that's coming in 9.1.5, which is great. And finally, on this page, it says Battle for Azeroth Legacy Loot Rules. So Legacy Loot will be enabled for players at level 60 in all Battle for Azeroth raids and dungeons, causing the accountants to drop the number of items as they would randomly for a group of 5 or 20 player raid. So Legacy Loot coming in for Battle for Azeroth stuff. That's cool. Love to see it. Really good for transmog farming. So yeah, 9.1.5 looking pretty stacked from this post. And I say this post, there is actually another post which we could take a look at, and that is actually over on Twitter. And this is kind of like a roadmap of sorts. This is something you probably see in other games as well. So it has the updates there for Classic with a long list of things which are coming in Phase 2 of Classic, but it also has a list of stuff for Modern WoW. A lot of this we did just cover, but there is some extra little bits in here, including legendary item recycling. Yes! Yes, legendary item recycling. So it looks like if you have an unused legendary, you can put it back to the rune carver and you can dismantle it or do something with it. You love to see it. That's great. I honestly, again, that's something that we kind of wanted for a long time, like a legendary scrapper of sorts. So that's really cool. The other thing, of course, is the new mounts and toys and travel form. This was announced previously. The one that catches me there is mounts. So I'm very curious to see what kind of new mounts they have. Obviously, there'll be a new mount with Legion Timewalking, but I would imagine other mounts as well. Not too sure. Maybe a new secret. That'd be fun. And the other one is reporting improvements. This is something they did mention on another post in detail about kind of like harassment, and they're kind of looking a bit more into it and the way that they report it and the way that they let you know that it's been dealt with and stuff. So that's really good. Obviously, any improvement in that kind of regard is always fantastic for the game. So yeah, it looks good. 9.1.5, pretty stacked. Not a lot of stuff to do, obviously, but a lot of changes, which are things that are kind of like evergreen changes for the expansion. And it's good stuff that people have requested for a long time. As I said before, stuff that probably should have been in the original patch, but, you know, it came in 9.1.5, not a 9.1.3, so I guess sooner rather than later. Hopefully this patch does deliver and kind of set a precedent for 9.2. Who knows what that's going to be at this point, but it is good to see that they are working on the game and making some improvements which are going to make it better for the future. So guys, do let me know down below. Let me know what you think of these features. What other features would you like to see in 9.1.5? And is there anything that you don't think was, you know, quite as good as you thought it would be? So yeah, we'll certainly see, guys. The PTR launches next week. As I said, we will be jumping into that. So before I go, guys, to give a massive shout out to my amazing patrons, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subs. You guys are awesome. And if you'd like to support the channel in any of those ways, links are down below. So leave a like on this video, guys, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. Also got a partner Discord channel with over 3,000 members. And as I said, I am now streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. With the PTR coming up next week, we're going to be testing absolutely everything on that list. Legion Timewalking especially is going to be a lot of fun to test. So if you want to check me out on Twitch, guys, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.